but I love to be in social gatherings. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Kimberly, thank you. That was really elaborate. Thank you so much. So how the session will go, we'll still figure it out. And why I'm saying that is because I wasn't expecting you to prepare a slide. I was thinking we were going to have a conversation, but this is great. Would you like to, present your slides? Would you like us to have a question and answer model, sort of? What works for you?
I think we can just go with the flow. I don't have to use my slides. My slides is just sort of to have, so that I'm able to structure what I'm saying. But you can go ahead with your questions. We can kick off from there. Yeah, it's fine.
All right, great. So everyone, because this is an interactive session, right? For the questions, you get to chip in. I will throw some of the questions at the audience as well, because this is a session where we get to learn from one another. However, for the sake of orderliness, right, if there's a point where you want to chip in, you want to contribute, you want to ask questions, object something, please raise up your virtual hands so that I can bring you up stage to speak. All right, great. So we can go ahead. Okay, so Kimberly, how about you present your slide so that, we get to see that, and then we go ahead with the questions. Does that work for you? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's do that. Let's
see the amazing things you've worked on. No, let's do that. So yes, please, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I think it's now that I'm presenting that my neighbor wants to start cooking a 4-year-old. So please don't be angry when you start hearing blender. Okay, so I wanted to sort of start off this conversation by stating that, I know the subject matter we're discussing today is, how to win in 2025, right? The winning strategies that you should have as a tech salesperson. But I also need to mention on the call that there are a couple of things you need to have at the back of your mind while you are also striving to win. And one of those things is just knowing that there are some things that are beyond your control. There are things you cannot control. And that's because government has a play in it, policy has a play in it, the founder or the owner of the business has a play in it. So there are things you cannot control. So let's just focus on the things that we can control. A good example is, everybody here is in a tech space. You know what recently happened, the announcement that was made, I think yesterday or this morning, about a CEO stepping down from, I'm sorry, I'm going to mention names on this call. I don't know if that's okay. I'm going to mention different
companies. We like the tea. It's okay. This is a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Ebo of Bento announced that he's going to be stepping down from Bento. And that's because, allegedly, it's because of some things that happened. So imagine that you already signed a contract with Bento. Imagine that you're already in some kind of conversation with Bento. Imagine what that can do. If, for example, that's probably the only thing you've been working on for the last couple of weeks, just trying to get this contract out, just trying to get this sale out. Imagine the impact of that in your funnel, in your pipeline, in your revenue that you've already calculated for the month. So there are some things that are beyond your control. So you need to have that in mind while you're working on your winning strategy. Another thing you need to know is that AI is here to stay. I'm not the kind of person that would say that AI will take, as salespeople, AI will come here and take your job. I don't believe in that. And the reason for that is, in as much as AI can help you to automate processes, help you to, be better, do some tasks faster, I do not think that you can really do sales if you take out the human element. So even if other roles, other departments can be replaced by AI, I do not think personally that, sales can be replaced completely by AI. But I think that as tech salespeople, you need to recognize that the world has evolved. AI is now part of our everyday life. So if there are courses you need to take to make you maybe a master in a particular field, I think there's someone on the call that is a data analyst. How can you leverage AI as a tech salesperson to, turn out your data faster, to do your data interpretation, to do your data analysis, right? And I know that there are tools right now like Power BI, you know, like different, like even Google Analytics, there are some form of, they have incorporated some form of AI into, their system. So how you preparing yourself to accumulate those skills and be a better person and set yourself for winning in 2025. Another thing I would like to mention while you're thinking about your winning strategy for the year is know that there are so many options for your customers, right? For example, if you want an HR solution today or you're selling an HR solution, you have a strong contender. Paid HCM is there. You have a strong contender. Seamless HR is there. There are so many amazing workflow HR is there. I think those guys are new, but there are so many people who are doing the same thing. There may be changes here and there, but you need to understand that your customer has option. What can you do to set you apart? What can you do that will make them pick you instead of others? So that's sort of what you should think while you're, thinking through your winning strategy for 2025. So I wanted to just lay that preamble before we move on. So now let's go into the business of the day. Typically, many of us, we are used to a our normal sales funnel, which is basically lead qualification, introduction, proposals, contracts. We're used to that, but I just wanted to sort of box. I wanted to box what we're going to be discussing today into stages. So winning strategy for 2025, I'm going to be discussing what has worked for me, what has worked for my team or people that I know, right? I'm going to be talking from that perspective. I work in insurtech. People say that insurance is the hardest thing to sell. If you can sell insurance and real estate, you can sell anything. That's what people say. I don't know if that's true, but that's what people say. So I'm going to be talking to you from that perspective, and maybe throw some lights in some other industries like fintech and SaaS. So yeah, let's talk about the first stage. The first stage, I have sort of boxed it into like the starting stage, the stage where you are looking for those leads, the stage where you are, toasting, you're toasting the girlfriend, you're toasting the boyfriend, you're flirting with the boyfriend, you're flirting with the girl to see if they are ready to, buy what you're selling. I don't know what you're selling, or whatever you're selling, you're flirting with them. That stage where you are also checking this guy out to see, is it my spec? Does it fit my spec? Is it tall? Is it dark? Is it handsome? Does she have a big, you're checking all the spec to see if everything aligns with what you want. That stage also includes the stage where you are sending proposals, you are, doing demos, you are sending documentation, all that back and forth is the starting stage. And I'm just, like I said, I will be running you through my strategies that have worked and, from the people that I know. Yeah, let's talk about lead generation. How can you better generate leads for and setting yourself up for winning in 2025? I know the traditional way many people get leads is cold calling. Some people do cold knocking. I do cold knocking a lot. But there are other ways that you probably need to think about in creating leads this year. One thing that I do when I'm looking for leads, and I need you to understand that I have a funnel that has almost 400 leads on it. And even the people that we are currently employing are taken from that funnel to now follow up on, right? So these are strategies that have worked for me, like I said before. So yeah, what I do is that I go to a website. I'll go to, let's say I want to reach out to Seamless HR. But I also want other people like Seamless HR. Like I said, I am in insurtech. I want to provide an API an API to Seamless HR so that their customers, HRs that use the platform, are able to now buy HMOs seamlessly from their platform. If it's fintech, let's say you're providing like a payment gateway, right? And you're looking for you're looking for a particular demographic of customers. Let's say you're looking for people that sell human hair. You're looking for people that sell human hair, and you want to be, if they have a website, you want to be the go-to person for their payment gateway. So you're going to look for a 1acre, for example. You go to 1acre's website. If 1acre, let me see if I can share that. I'll just show you an example. Yeah. So if 1acre has like people that she has collaborated with in the past on her website, you can look at those people, and those people can now join your funnel, if that makes sense. The tab is loading, so I'll just leave it for now. But I'll just try to explain. So if I go to paid HCM's website today, you will see the people that they have provided HR service to. I will now look at, can this person, or I go to Seamless HR, can this person use my platform? Can this person use my software? Can this person use my payments gateway? Would this person need HMO? In that way, I have sort of collapsed time. I am focusing my energy in people who have actually launched their product. They have a product that you can integrate with. They have a product that has moved past an idea, right? So you are collaborating with these people, you're partnering with these people, you're going to be selling to people that actually have a product and not just an idea. So that's one way to generate lead. Another way that has worked for me, and many people that I know, in this space probably met me at one event or the other. But I was pretty aggressive with events, attending networking events in 2023 and 2024. And that was, if you look at my funnel, that was a major way that I got the kind of customers that I wanted. So let's say it is Lagos Startup Week. Lagos Startup Week is majorly attended by startups, businesses, whether they have a booth or they don't have a booth. Those kind of people are there. And these are the customers I'm looking for. However, I need to make sure that they meet my criteria, which is why I said that is this person my spec. So I have, based on data, I have specific spec, which I'll be discussing later on the score, for the kind of people I'm looking for. So and one thing I do before I get to your booths, I would actually Google you to see, is this person my spec before I approach. So I may attend an event and not even speak to certain people because I know that they are not my spec, right? So that's another way for you to get leads. So if you've not been doing that before, that's something you should consider in 2025. Another way that I can also get leads is through LinkedIn. Okay, let's use this as an example. Okay, cool. Let's say you work for an IT. Let's say you work for an IT firm. You work for an IT firm and you deliver IT service, right? And you want to target Helium Health. You want to provide them with a software that they can use to manage like their inventory and stuff. So you look for Helium Health. That's your primary person. But then if you look at the right-hand corner of your screen, you see other businesses that are in the same industry. So I can also offer this service to Reliance Health. I can offer the same service to Bamboo, to Health Tracker. These are all in the same industry. So if I can offer that service to Helium Health, I can offer it to other people. So I have just sort of collapsed time in looking for leads that meet my criteria. The last one when it comes my strategy for lead generation, the last one I will discuss is industry match, right? Or industry search. So I think I've sort of touched it in the other ones I've mentioned before. Let's say I want to target people in the, let's say, logistics space. I want to provide certain covers for them. Or let me even use global food. Let's say the food industry, people that help you get food. So I'm going to search based on that industry. So I'm going to search for maybe food delivery company. And when I search for good food delivery company on Google, I will definitely see global. I will definitely see Chowdeck. I would definitely see 500 Chow, right? So you can also search based on industry, right? I don't know if anyone has any question before I move to my strategy for lead qualification. All right. Okay, so let's just move on. For lead qualification, I mentioned before that it's based on certain data that we have gathered over the years, or over some months. So at some point at mycover.ai, we had to sort of really focus our attention on the people that were giving us the most revenue and were giving us, they were fulfilling the customer journey faster, right? And we needed to be able to monitor that. So we went on a 2 months, just, I would call them test period. We were testing different things to see who is our person, right? So one of the things that we discovered, like I said, I'm going to be talking from insurance perspective. One of the things we discovered is, if I'm selling API, for example, I want to be able to sell API to someone that when they sell, I am selling also. And this also goes for fintech. If you're selling fintech softwares or fintech APIs, obviously anybody that does business does transactions. So it's a no-brainer for fintechs, but it may not be the same for other industries, right? It's a no-brainer for fintech that if somebody sells an item, obviously they would either use transfer or they'll use a payment gateway, right? So it was my duty to make sure that when I have gotten all these leads, what will qualify me to send them a proposal is if, one, every time they sell, I sell insurance. I will give you an example. Let's use logistics. Let's say you use what's the name of these guys? Aramex. Let's say you use Aramex. Aramex, for every time somebody ships an item, there's an insurance cover, right? For every single time somebody ships an item, there's an insurance cover. So in that way, I am just going to look for people like that. So I know that everybody in the logistics space, I will not bother looking for someone that sells EPA, because they don't need to cover EPA. Even if I just want to sell for selling sake, I'm just going to be wasting my time. And I'm not thinking from a high impact perspective. I'm not thinking from a winning perspective. I'm just doing sales because they say we should go and do sales. They say we should go and do code call. They say we should go and do code meetings, right? You need to be able to think, okay, if I'm going to sell fintech, I'm going to sell an API, I'm going to sell a software, I should be selling that software to someone that for every time they open their laptop, for every time, even when they don't open their laptop, I will be selling, right? So the next thing that we use to qualify leads is even when they need me, but they don't know. Now, let's say I run a spa. I met a lady yesterday at a PBN hangout, and she was telling me how she wanted to join, the community. She's new to the business and all of those things, blah blah blah. And she's really just looking for strategies on how she can, optimize her sales. And I was telling her that, see, you're a spa person. There are many people here that have staff. You're new, so you want to get people to know that you exist and your services are premium. This person doesn't know it, but I'm letting the person know that you can actually offer these CEOs that are here, these founders that are here, maybe a 1 month voucher. Maybe your best salesperson for the month can go for a spa treatment, right? And maybe for a 50% discount or something. But then you have sales coming in. If that person has a salesperson, that person can run with that, right? Or I'll give an example that is here. Let's say I run a spa. Okay, let me use this. I use a salon called Bougie. And they do like really nice nails, and they make your hair and everything. But they don't have a customer loyalty program. For people who have been using her for 2 years or 3 years, we're just paying her 30K, 40K to make our nails. And there's nothing that she does for us that shows that, yeah, she really values that we're giving her that kind of money to make nails. Now imagine that you as a fintech bro goes to her and say, okay, I'm going to offer you this card. And it could be a card that you get from there's this company that Secure ID makes card. So if you work for Secure ID, you can get a card and go to like Salos and say, okay, this is a card that you can give to your customers. It could be 3K, it can be 10K, but every time they come, they get points, which is now put in that card, and they can now maybe use the card later. You can see this same model for some supermarkets. So sometimes businesses don't know that they need certain services. You have to let them know. You have to assume the role of a consultant to, be able to sell, to be able to win. Because sometimes they don't know, right? Yeah. And another way for you to sort of qualify lead is looking for leads that cannot survive without you, right? Let's say people, and I think the people that fit well into this is people that offer like security platforms. I can't remember their names now, but many tech startups use them for like security, what do they call them, KYC processes and stuff like that. So those kind of people are people you cannot do it. So you are in a good position. So you're going to be looking for people who do transactions and they cannot do without it. They need that security for the platform. People who want to build, founders who are just building, they need APIs to fast track that process. They need API for bank account creation. They need API for e-commerce. They need APIs for insurance. They need APIs for fintech, right? So another way to sort of qualify your lead is looking for businesses that cannot survive without you, basically. All right. So what is the strategy that I employ when it comes to introduction and engagement? Introduction is basically, like all of us know, you're introducing your brand, you're letting people know this is what I do and all of that. In the lead qualification round, you may not necessarily be doing any conversation. You're just looking at leads and qualifying them if they fit your spec or not. But this stage is where you actually then engage them, and you're talking to them. And for me, sometimes these three processes are collapsed in one, especially for events. So, like I said, when I go to an event, I obviously know the people that are exhibiting, because on the website of the event, you will know the people that are exhibiting. And before I go there, I already have searched who the founder is, I've checked what they do and everything. And I've seen that, okay, this person fits what I want or don't fit what I want. So when I'm going to that event, I already know that this person is qualified, the leader has been generated, the person is qualified, and I have collapsed that for me. I'm just doing my introduction, right? I'm doing my introduction, I'm getting phone numbers, I'm asking them when is the next meeting, I'm asking them what they want, I'm asking what their pain points is. I'm collapsing time, basically. I don't have time to be talking too much. If you will stress me, I'll leave you until you're ready. That's just me, right? You can't force somebody to buy your product, and that's just being honest. Also, another strategy for introduction and engagement is cold calling, the good old cold calling. Pick up the phone, they have a phone number on their website, or you can reach out to Titi. Titi knows somebody in the company. She gives you the number of the person. You call the person, this is what I do. Is this possible? Is this not possible? And one thing I do is, if somebody gives me a number, let's say I say, Kojo, Koje now. Koye, sorry. Koye, I need somebody that works at fx.com. Do you know somebody? Koye says, yes, I do know someone. Koye gives me the number. And then I do a cold call. Hi, Koye, give me your number. My name is Kimberly. This is what I do. Do you think, I always would ask, do you think this is something your company is interested in? If the person says yes, I'll be like, okay, do you currently use another company for this service? If they say yes, I said, okay, how long have you been using this person? When is your new renewal? Because if they just renew, there's no point carrying on with that conversation. If they've been using the company for so long, then I ask, do you guys have any complaints? Is there something you guys want that you're not getting? That's where I then, just come in and sneak in. and say, okay, I can offer you this, I can even give you a trial, blah, 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 blah. Right. So the good cold calling is great. It's a great way to initiate a conversation and stay engaged. Like I said earlier in the call, I do a lot of cold meetings. As a matter of fact, I think that if you really want things to move fast, that is sort of what you should be doing. I remember that at a particular account last year, I literally just walked into their, well, I did my research, of course. I went on LinkedIn, I searched the name of the people that work for the company. I know the name of the HR person. I know the name of the founder. I got to the security gate. They said, "Who are you looking for?" I did not have any appointments. I said, "I have an appointment with this person," even if I don't have the appointment with this person. "I have an appointment with this person." The person said, "Okay, write your name." I wrote my name. I got to the reception, and the person said, "Okay, I'm going to tell the person." And people have done it to me too, and it's fine. And then I come out, I'll be like, I don't have an appointment with somebody, but then I come out to see the person respectfully. And then I start a conversation. It's as simple as that. You may be lucky that that person is actually looking for your service at that time, right? I did this with most of the gadgets accounts that I signed up last year. It was cold meetings, and it was at the perfect timing, the perfect time, and all of that. So that strategy actually does work if you know how to do it right. Now, another way for you to win an account this year is the way you do your presentation. And that is where I would actually beg all of us or some of us on this call. Please do not do a demo if you don't know your products. That is the most annoying thing that anybody can do. Don't do a demo if you don't know the products. In short, when you go to a new company, you should spend at least 2 weeks understanding the products before you start selling anything. How are you even selling something that you do not know, right? So please, if your CEO or your line manager is you need to let the person know that, see, I cannot sell what I don't know. There are many times, there are instances last year where we hired some, they say, "Oh, I've been doing sales. I've been doing sales for the last 10 years. I've been doing sales for the last 13 years. And this is no job to anybody." But then you were given 1 month to actually learn the products, and you spent that time, doing gallivanting and stuff. And when it was now time to do demo, you're now saying, "Kim, oh, my colleague Kim will take it up from here." Uncle, if I win that account, that commission is not going to you because I did the work, you didn't do the work, right? So you need to spend time in actually knowing your products. If a customer asks you a question about, "Okay, why is this button here?" Can you answer? "What does this button do?" Can you answer? You need to assume the role of a consultant. If you should be able to sense a problem with your button before your customer does. And you can only sense that if you actually check your product. Are you visiting your site? Are you visiting your app? Because it doesn't make sense for you to win an account. I know for some companies, once you win an account, it's no longer your business how that account goes. Your own is to win the accounts and get your commission and hands off. For some people, it's not like that. You look for the lead, you close the lead, and you manage the lead. So I'm talking to those people. You want to ensure that you are testing your platform. It's very important because then you're able to sense things before it happens, right? That's the role of a consultant. That's the role of someone who actually does care about what they're selling. All right. So when you're sending your decks out, your product documents out, please personalize them. Please, that's how the customer knows that you are actually listening. If I jump on a call with Ibrahim and Ibrahim says that I should come and buy his, he's selling, let's say he's selling cars. Let's say Ibrahim is selling cars. And I've told Ibrahim on the first introductory call, or maybe when I met him at an event, that, "Oh, I want a car that is pink. I want a car that is V6. I want a car that is 3 wheels." But Ibrahim sends me a document that is 4 wheels, that is black, that is V4. It means Ibrahim wasn't listening to me. Ibrahim may not even know that he was doing something wrong. He just knows that, okay, this is our company deck. This is what we offer. What am I saying? I'm just saying, for you to win in 2025, You need to listen to your customers, and you need to be able to tweak your product document to suit what the person actually wants. All right. Another fantastic way of winning is actually showing them how it works. So some people, let me use the car example. Ibrahim could bring a black colored V6 car, but I want a pink color V6 car. But Ibrahim knows why he's actually offering me that black colored V6 car. And if he's able to defend that stance, if he's able to defend why I should take black, why not? Why won't I take it? If he tells me that, okay, this pink one, because of Nigerian road, if he scratches, it's going to be more obvious. It's going to attract maybe the bad guys. It's going to attract kidnappers. You know, maybe it consumes more fuel. Maybe I need to do more maintenance on it. And it's not really right for the Nigerian road. If Ibrahim is able to now tell me, this is the reason why I think a black V6 car instead of a pink V6 car is better for you, then why not? So you need to be able to show your customers how it works. Sometimes you may need to do a test. I was at a party today, and they were telling me how somebody from China sends them one POS machine. Imagine sending one POS machine. And I know Chinese people do that a lot. They will send you one for you to just see how it works. But that's actually a way to, if it actually works well, they order at least 200 POS per time. That's account manager, whoever that person is, just one him or herself, a new account. Yeah, so that's majorly the strategy that I employ when it comes to the starting stage, winning an account, starting the conversation, doing my demos and stuff like that. Does anyone have any question before we move to commercials and contracts? All right, cool. So I'm going to move to closing. The closing stage is typically the stage where, you know, you're having the back and forth conversation about commercials. In the insurance space, we have that. In the insurtech, I wouldn't talk about the insurance, but in the insurtech space, when there's a lot of back and forth, especially for the guys who have like big accounts and stuff like that, there are lots of back and forth when it comes to how much the numbers that they're doing per day. If a premium is, for example, 10,000, they want it at 9,999 naira, or they want it at 9,800 naira or something like that. So in the commercial stage, that is where you're actually making those conversations. You're going back and forth. You're tweaking things in the contract and all of that. One way I'm able to fast track that process for myself is I know the margins. I don't know how it works for other companies. I'm talking from my perspective. So I know the margin. If, for example, I'll just let me use third-party insurance, for example. Everybody know in the market that third-party insurance is 15,000 naira. But let's say our margin on third-party insurance is 200 naira. I know that when I'm speaking on a call with a partner, no matter how large the volume you're bringing is, I cannot do beyond that margin. Let's say I already had a conversation with my boss and my boss tells me, no matter what you do, Kim, you cannot, the highest we can do is share that 200 naira into 100. The customer takes 100, I will take 100. Let's assume that is the case. When I'm in a negotiation call, I know that I cannot reduce the margin for the company. So what that does is I don't have to go and check in with my boss again and then be dragging the conversation and then be dragging commercials and all of that, right? So I'm able to close that account as fast as possible. So for you to win, you should have that conversation with your line manager to say, okay, what is the sales price of this particular service? Or what's the cost price, sales price of this particular, how much do we get it for? How much are we selling it for? What is our margin? What is the best we can do? If a customer is bringing 10,000 leads or 10,000 accounts to us, how much can we give out? When you have that information, you are able to crunch. You don't need to be doing back and forth with your with your line manager, even if you need to, like, I talked about ownership, right? That's sort of how I think. You don't need to now be looking for someone to micromanage you. You can handle things. You can handle your thing yourself, right? So yeah, that's one way, I think that you can really win this year. Know your margins, know what you're doing, know the numbers. The next thing I would say is the contracts. For some companies, they have templates. I think most tech companies, they have templates for these things, right? If you have a more structured environment, you work for a more structured environment, there will be maybe like a lawyer in-house that handles contracts. You want to have a conversation with the lawyer if they don't have it already, that, okay, is it possible for us to have templates for each industry? So that's one of the things that I did when I joined my cover. For those who don't know, I was the first biz dev that my cover hired, right? So there are certain things that I did to make sure that sort of the sales department had some form of structure. One of those things that I'm happy that I did was getting our lawyers, legal guys, to give us templates for contracts, right? So if I'm talking to an Airtel, any telco I'm talking to, there's a particular contract for all telcos, based on industry standard, based on other things. If I'm talking to a fintech, there's a particular template for fintech. If I'm talking to a logistics company, there's a particular template for a logistics company. So when the only time I need to now involve our legal guys is when the recipients of that contract have now placed some form of comments on the contract. What does this do for you as a salesperson? If you have templates, the 2 weeks interval or the 2 weeks period it takes to be doing back and forth with customer, you collapse it. Because if you have to every time get the legal guys to create a new contract, that's going to make your process really long. Before you know it, another company, another salesperson who has their thing together, who has their things are structured, will take your account. That's sort of how it works. It's the market is bullish, right? So it is survival of the fittest. You need to get your things together. You need to hold your ground and have things sorted out. So yeah, you could, to win in 2025, please have preset templates for your contracts, for your commercials, for your MOUs. Have preset templates to just sort of shorten that period, that time to close an account. You also need to understand clauses, right? You need to understand what a clause means, because your partner can call you to say, oh, Kim, this clause 7, what does it mean? What do you guys mean by that? I'd be like, oh, hold on, let me talk to my lawyer. And lawyer will not pick your call once it's past 5. So you need to know these things. I know it's a lot. It's really none of your business as a salesperson to be knowing these things, but that is what will set you up for winning in 2025. That's what will set you apart from every other salesperson around you. Let's really talk about delivering. Now you've done the starting stage, you've done the closing stage, they've signed the contract. Now it's now time for you to deliver on the service and the product that you've promised them. Now it's now time for you to deliver on the promise, on the service that you promised. You promised. This is where, for me, integrity comes in. I don't play with integrity. If you say that I will deliver 20 POSs to your customer, then deliver 20 POSs to my customer, right? I would rather you call me. Let's say you say I will deliver it by Friday, and you know that, okay, maybe your supplier from China has not brought it. Let me know on Wednesday that there's been a delay, so that I am able to now manage the customer. That's sort of how I see things. And I think that you should also see things that way. If you know that your tech team, because Nadia would always fight. Sorry for my pidgin English. Nadia would always fight. Developer will say, oh, the button will be live in COB Tuesday. Monday evening, tech bro, no, you know, the thing never even ready. They never even write the code. You know, sorry for my pidgin English, but I'm sure you get the drift. If you know that your tech people are not dependable, under promise and over deliver. Under promise and over deliver. There are some things that you cannot control. But if you know that whenever tech says that they will deliver COB Tuesday, now that morning they won't begin to write the code. Please, under promise and over deliver. Tell the customer it's going to be available in 2 weeks' time. So that before that 2 weeks' time, tech has pushed the product. You have tested the product to be sure that this thing is actually working before you move it to your customer. So trust, integrity is something that you should embody in the year 2025 as a winning strategy for you. You also need to understand that integration, if you're selling APIs, integration process can take 2 months. People who work in fintech and you sell APIs, you know this. That integration process, it can take 2 months. Even if your API documentation is done in such a way that you can finish the API integration in 24 hours. Because of tech has a roadmap they need to fulfill. Legal guys need to check that, your what's this thing called now? There's this thing that they were asking from us one time we were trying to do something with them. I think downtime, there's a schedule on the contract that's, the legal guys need to check that for every time you have a downtime, the contract covers that you would actually announce or let the customer know that we're going to have a downtime. I've forgotten the name of the clause. But yeah, you need to understand that integration is time dependent. And because it's time dependent, if you say that I'm going to deliver something at this time, I've mentioned before, under promise and over deliver. Now, let's backtrack. We've talked about over delivering too much. Let's talk about, how you can manage your funnel such that when it comes to API delivery, or when it comes to delivering the product and service, you are not, shooting yourself in the leg. I'll give you an example. Let's say you sell, let's say you work in a fintech company and you guys, let's say you work at Paystack, for example. And you know that people who, let me never use Paystack. Let me use this Bumper. I think Bumper has POSs now. You know that if I go to Balogun markets and I go to where they sell hair, those people, they do numbers on a minutes basis. Those people do numbers. If you go to Balogun market to buy hair, you know what I'm saying. Those people do huge numbers on a minutes basis. And I like the strategy that Bumper has employed. And I don't know who thought about that, but I think it's fantastic. So they delivered POS to certain people, especially those people that are selling hair in Balogun markets, right? That same product can also be delivered to, let's say, a big corporation like maybe, let's say a big corporation like Fincra. I mean, that's not because Fincra also has their own POS. Let me use another one. I'm not sure, right? But I'm sure you get the drift. Let's say what I'm just trying to say is, if you sell POSs, you deliver POS, or you're a payment gateway, there is the high-hanging fruits and there's the low-hanging fruits. The low-hanging fruits are the people who do transactions on a daily basis, people that sell markets, the salon owners. Those are low-hanging fruits. You can walk into their office. You can tell them, okay, this is what is going to make you look like the bougie. Lagos is all about packaging. If you package this thing well now, it's going to look nice. You're going to be different from other people. You go to Ikeja market. Those are low-hanging fruits. Those people can convert the fastest, as long as you know that if you say it's going to delete, if you say that, transaction is 2 seconds, it is really 2 seconds. You use word of mouth. People are already calling you. It's going to give your number to other people. This Koye's POS, it works. So 2 minutes, the customer, we don't collect our alert. We don't see our alert. Those are low-hanging fruits. But then if you're looking like big cops, you want to give POSs to Microsoft whatever, those are the big corp guys. Those may take time. So for you to win, you need to, be able to measure this particular customer. How long would it take for me to close it? Are there other people I can close, in a week's time, I can close them, right? So you need to consider that when you are, when you are making your decisions as to who to do integration with. For example, I know that if I'm talking to a fintech, in short, I don't really talk to fintechs anymore. I don't talk to fintechs anymore. As a BD, I don't talk to fintechs anymore. I hardly ever talk to, except they come to us, but I don't talk to them anymore because the process of integrating with a fintech can take you 3 to 6 months. But if you are doing an integration with somebody that sells, that sells, maybe they sell something, maybe you're selling to people that sell phones at Ikeja village. You're selling to people that sell phones at Ikeja village. I don't need to do an integration. They can use the dashboard. They can use the dashboard to sell, and I'll be getting my commission. I'll be getting my money, right? So you need to think about it that way. That's how you set yourself up for success. Another thing you need to do is over communicate. If they started integration and you know that it's as if our tech guys have moved, please communicate ahead of time. Don't let the customer now notice before. Don't let the customer notice before you. That's why you need to always check the platform. If you know that it's going to be a downtime, your guys are going to push a particular feature that will cause a downtime, communicate with your customers on time. Because that could also lead to a whole different story entirely. Let's say they have it in the contract and you didn't communicate on time. Excuse me, it's going to be your fault. Even though it's not your fault, it's supposed to be marketing that's supposed to communicate that. But you need to take ownership and be responsible. Communicate and over communicate. Yeah, so let's talk about still on delivery. If your service is a service where you need to take a hardware to a customer, please test it before you go. If, for example, you give people, maybe you work with MTN and you are delivering modems, I'm sure there's a way to do quality assessment. Please make sure that QA guys have actually checked each and every of those products before it gets to the hand of your customer. Because the moment it gets to your partner's hand, they will not know that you did not check. They're just going to assume that your product does not work. And word of mouth spreads fast. If it doesn't work, it's going to tell someone else that it doesn't work, even if it does work. It was just one faulty problem. Nigerians like to over exaggerate things. If one thing doesn't work, they say the whole thing doesn't work. You travel, and many of us will do it. I will need to change this bad attitude. You travel with a group, and let's say flight was delayed. You now say, oh, this is a terrible trip. These people don't know how to plan. It was flight that was delayed. Do you understand? We like to over exaggerate things. So you need to make sure that things are working seamlessly when it comes to hardware products. There's no excuse whatsoever. All right, we're wrapping up soon. This is a very important part. As a matter of fact, this is what is I don't know if this would work for fintech, because fintech is forever and ever. If you integrate a payment gateway or you integrate a solution, it's forever and ever, except they decide to not use your gateway or use a solution anymore. But for some other products, like insurance, I can say Chika Enterprise. Chika sells bone straight hair at a shop in Balogun Market. I, as an insurance lady, I know that all I need to do is get Chika's pest business, build a relationship with Chika, and then I can upsell him however I want. For example, let's say I got into Chika's business through maybe fidelity guarantee. Fidelity guarantee is basically Chika is saying, I don't want my staff may steal from me, and I want to protect myself, protect my business. They may defraud customers. I want to be able to cover myself for that risk. So I spoke to Chika selling fidelity guarantee, but I have it at the back of my mind that my end game is to sell HMO, because people that sell here, they usually have like five to seven staff. My end game is that I will sell HMO to Chika. My end game is that I would tell him to do shop insurance, because fire can consume all his million dollar business, right? So there are some businesses that this can apply to, there are some that it will not apply to. But when you are building a relationship or you're winning an account, please also think about other things that you can do. Think about other revenue that you can generate. Think about how this can become a long-lasting relationship. There are customers that invite me for their children's party, and I go, right? You need to be able to think about these things. And beyond just even say selling, are there other things you can do? And I'll give an example. In 2024, I went into 2024 with a very clear, like, what I wanted to do. So the second week of January, I visited, so accounts that I had signed in 2023. You know, sometimes you may start an account, you may start the process in June, but the accounts will not close until maybe September or October. So accounts that I closed, that signed, by closing I mean that signed an agreement with me from October to December, but they had not started transacting. I told myself that once they resume, I'm going to go to their office with a nice package, and I was going to discuss how I did not discuss what I would deliver to them. I discussed how I can help their business grow. Remember, I said, when I'm picking my partners, I pick partners that when they sell, I sell. So those people that I have already figured out that, see, these people, every time they sell, I will sell. I visited each and every one of them at the office. I took a gift with me, and I said, see, how can I help you? I want to help you so that you can do transactions, right? And we, figured out different ways. For example, I pushed for us to give them like a 50K voucher on their insurance dashboard, so that they're able to, maybe if they want to do giveaway, fine. If they want to use that for a digital campaign, fine. But that is my way of making sure that they get transacting. And they did get transacting. They tested it. They saw that it worked. They started doing it. They did the integration afterwards, right? So you need to be able to also think from a place of value. You need to think as a consultant, what can I do for this person to help them? Another thing I also did last year was we started doing co-marketing videos. If you go to our YouTube channel, you'll notice that we're not doing it before, we started doing it. So every account that I signed up, I tell them at the onboarding call that, see, I am here to help your business, do more. I want to make your business more, I want to get more eyes on your business, and I want your business to do well. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot a nice commercial video. That video you can use to announce the partnership. You can also use that video to do like promotional ads and stuff like that. But it just sort of give them, these people actually do care about me. And we cover the cost. Right? So that sort of gave them this, these people actually do care about me. They care about my business and stuff like that. So we did co-marketing with them. We offered them discounts. That was last year. I don't know if I'm doing it this year, but that happened last year. So yeah, another thing you need to do is when you actually get leads, I know that we know this, but please follow up. A lot of us have lost big accounts because we did not follow up, and it may not be our fault. It may be that they were frustrating us, and we just sort of backed up. But please do follow up with your leads. You may not know when they will make that call. You may not know. For example, and this is an expo, for those people who have been chasing partners that sell cars, people in the auto space, this is a time you need to re-engage them, because Lagos, not really Lagos State, the IGP of police did an announcement that all road users must have car insurance. So you would notice that there's a fine of 250K by the way. You notice that maybe from February, people will want to put their car in order. If there was a solution you were planning to sell to an auto company, this is the time to re-engage them, because there'll be people will be trying to put their car in order, get their papers, right. People will be trying to get insurance and stuff like that, right? So you never know. Just follow up on your leads, check in with them and all of that. Yeah, last thing I would talk about is feedback. As a matter of fact, when people are talking about things in their office, and you don't know about it, you're just a salesperson, you're just an account manager. But they have made decisions at your back and you don't know. The only way you may know is maybe you have a good friend there and they call you to say, see, they are saying that we're going to remove you guys from our HMO plan. We don't want to use you guys again. That's the only way that's going to happen. Or maybe you called the HRO and the HRO says, my people have been complaining, that they'll go to the hospital and they'll be waiting for 15 minutes, right? You need to always solicit for feedback. There are times that they may not know that there's a solution to it. They will just think that it is a worldwide problem, but there's actually a solution to it. So you want to ask for feedback, right? I remember I did a code meeting with one of our interns back in April 2023. Where we visited some restaurants in VI and got some of them to get our HMO plan. And I remember that a particular location did not have hospitals around it, right? And because of that, they were going to say, oh, we're not going to use this HMO anymore. But they did not know that it was the particular plan that they were on, even though we had sent it to them. They didn't know that it was the particular plan that they were on that was limiting their hospital access. If they had just moved to a higher plan, they would have gotten access to the hospital. So when I called, because I would obviously call maybe after a month of being on the plan, because people don't fall sick every day. You need to give them time to be able to experience the HMO plan. So I called a month after to say, okay, have your guys used the hospital? Any complaints? And they were like, oh, we don't, somebody tried to go to the hospital, they couldn't find the hospital, and my boss said that we should, leave the plan and everything. And I told them that's not true. It's the plan that you're on. But this was going to happen. You can use telemedicine. In the meantime, while we rectify this, the money that you have left in your wallet, we can use to move you guys, give you a 1 month free trial period to test it. If it's fine, and then you can renew, right? So please ask for feedback. You never can tell what they're discussing in their office, right? I think I would stop talking now and I'll take questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly, for such an amazing session. It was very detailed, and I love how you touched every aspect of this sales process, right from qualification to even post-sales. So thank you very much again, Kimberly. Thank you for your time. We'll take questions now from anyone that has questions of the audience. Please raise up your hands, your virtual hands. Raise up your virtual hands, and I will bring you up stage to ask your questions. And also, if you want to make contributions, right? If there's something Kimberly has said that resonated with you, and if there's something you also want to contribute, I think now would be a great time to take part. So Kimberly, before questions start coming in, I believe hands start going up, start asking questions. What would you say was the one thing, if you could sum it up, what would you say was the one thing that worked for you in 2024? Across your sales process at every level, what was the one thing that worked for you?
Just thinking about it now, I would say it was that decision to visit those clients, right? And I would say also it was the support I provided to those clients. That's the best decision, I think, because that gave me a huge head start. It's always sweet when you start the year and money is already rolling in, and your boss will be thinking that this guy is a superstar,
Yeah.
It's always nice. And I think that was a very good strategy for me to sort of build that relationship ahead of time and because like I said, I gave them, I told them that I gave them support basically. I was there, I was at their office, I observed things, I saw things, right? So I think that strategy of actually being involved in their business was a winning thing for me.
Great, great. I think for me, something I did well and I want to double down on in 2025 is being very intentional about building a rapport with prospects and even partners post sale, building a relationship with them, maintaining relationships with them, but particularly building a rapport. So now, at whatever point I connect with a prospect, it could be at the point where I'm having a cold call. It could be at the point where we're having a meeting. It could be a preliminary call. It could be them visiting the office. It could be me going to their office. At whatever point I connect with a prospect, I make it a thing to build some level of rapport so that when I call you back, you don't feel like my call is a burden. You want to answer my call, except you're busy. Do you understand? I think that's something that has worked for me in sales, being very intentional about building a rapport, finding other things they have interest in, just having that little conversation. I used to be someone that did not like chit chats, but it works so long as it's the chit chat that they're interested in, and you're matching their energy to know that the person you're talking to is actually interested in chit chat at that moment. So yeah, I think that is something that has worked for me in sales. I'm going to put this question out to everyone on the call because it is an interactive session. So we're meant to talk. What is the one thing that has worked for you? It could be at any point in your sales process, whether it's through lead qualifications, at the point where you had your contact with them during your meetings, demo presentations, implementation, negotiation, whatever stage it was in, closing, or even post sales. What is something that worked for you in 2024? Let's quickly talk about that. Who wants to go first? Our sales stars on the call. And it doesn't even have to be really deep, to be honest. What was just something you did better? Or what something that just worked for you? Or you noticed, your customers were very responsive to this thing? Share with us. Let's go. Let's go. So who wants to go first? Who wants to share something that works for them in 2024 and we can learn from? Okay, I'm going to call names. Donald Peters, I know you don't like talking, but you're the first person that comes to mind. So I'm going to call you. As a tech sales professional, what was something that worked for you in 2024?
I really don't get why I'm like, huh? Okay, truth be told, I am actually a growth associate, and I literally just got to sales like 2 months ago or something at the end of the year. So I really haven't, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you. I get
Yeah.
you. With your cold calls, have you noticed anything that has worked? Maybe your script that you used, or maybe your subject line for your cold emails. Was there something you did differently or something you've noticed because you just started?
Usually I feel like I know you said that there are like different strategies for sales, but I feel like if the customer is for you, the customer is for you. Like Kimberly kind of said, if the customer shares out too much, you'll just dip, right? So like I feel like sometimes there's really nothing you can do. Like you could even put like minimal efforts and just get the customer, and you could put all the efforts in the world and still not get the customer. So like that's just how I feel it is sometimes. At least the short time I've been in sales, that's what I've discovered. To be honest, can just like send the WhatsApp DM. Do I have this blah blah blah? I'm like, okay, sold. Let's go. Meanwhile, you can send this guy emails, calls, texts over a month, and then still nothing. So I just feel like that sometimes.
Well, I agree with you. I wish it always worked that way, but sometimes your customers are ready, the opportunity is the right time, and you're reaching out at the right time. So those things could align sometimes, and that's good. Titi, I'm going to call you because you always have a lot to say, and I'm going to call you because everywhere is crickets at the moment. So Titi, what was something that worked for you in 2024?
All right. One thing that has helped me in 2024 when it comes to sales activities, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes, would be to diversify, right? Because I was chasing the expansion. We are not going to do expansion again. So I have to look for a way to replicate my energy in places that I could not be in at once. So that's something that really helped me, especially because I was trying to enter new territories. So I had to partner with people who already had lived those territories, and everybody is happy when money goes down. So yeah, that helped. I wasn't there physically. I didn't have their network. They did, but then because I could find a common ground that worked out for everybody, I was happy. They ended up being happy as well.
Oh, that's nice. Well done. Well done. All right, Jagade Okayemi, what was something that worked for you in 2024?
Yeah, I think mine might be a little bit peculiar, but just
Okay.
familiarizing with folks outside. I mean, they are somewhat important to the decision making for the company. So speaking of folks in liquidity, treasury, given the nature of product I sell, right?
Uh-huh.
So building those relationship with these guys, and then it actually helps whoever is going to take a decision, on that product to say, hey, we just want to go with this guy. So that was super helpful for me, like just establishing that relationship with people outside, like the core decisions. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jagade. John, what worked for you in 2024 within your sales process? Could it be any part of your sales process?
Uh, I would say mine is a little bit quite interesting because the context in which I'll bring it may not be relatable because prior to 2024, I know we were very big on cold emails, but we experienced a lot of difficulty with our ISPs. Google, for instance, when you send too much email or they pick any social words, they get to ban you, put you in jail for a couple of times. And what really stood out for us was, shifting priorities from outbound-based marketing, outbound-based outreach, rather to inbound-based marketing, where
Oh,
we switch from marketing to attracting these leads to come in, then we
mhm.
follow up with them from there. Although it's a little bit more expensive, but it, you know, helps us filtrate out people that are not willing to get our product to start with. And also by using sales nav, it's a very powerful tool coupled with clay in building list for our cadences. So those two tools were like a standard for us, and also for me personally, follow up with leads that have already been pre-qualified based on the fact that they came into inbound.
Thank you very much, John. Yeah, that's great. I think discovering that inbound works better for you is just. I think there's no formula to it. If I'm guessing correctly, your customers are it's a B2C business, right? So your customers are mostly online, and you try to reach out to them through those channels.
No, it's not a B2B. It's a
Oh,
B2C. So
B2C.
it's not a B2C. It's a B2B.
Really?
Yeah, Google is
What
part of our
industry?
client. Sorry.
What industry?
The BPO space. So you see all of these ChatGPT model and different models that these guys are building every now and then. We basically take off that contract from them and help them, plug in people to build it at an affordable rate. That's basically what we do. And also for customer experiences. And again, we don't service the African markets, just the North American market and the European market. So again, the dynamism is a little bit, different from the Nigerian market. So that's it.
All right. Thank you very much, John. So I think we'll take one more person before we go. Ogolua, what was something that worked for you in 2024?
Hi, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Ogolua.
Okay, I think doing more personal reaching out. I know Kimberly mentioned something like this, and I think I did see Kimberly at a lot of events last year. and with our t-shirt. I think I was very familiar with that. But yes, it was doing more physical reaching out and as well putting calls through. So there are people that sign up and you're trying to talk to and all. And then sometimes you just put a call through and then conversation you've been having in 5 email threads, you're able to close it out in like a 2 minute, 3 minute phone call. So I picked that up more and it helped me close out like even way more leads than the year before. So I think that's one thing that I really picked up and I've been preaching to everyone to do, like put a phone call through, buy credits, put a call through. Trust me, a conversation will go way faster. But yeah, I think that's it.
All right, thank you very much, Ogolua. Well done. Thanks a lot. So we've come to the end of this session, of tonight's session. Thank you everyone for your time. If you're new here again, this is Tech Sales and Partnerships Community. We support professionals in tech sales, business development, partnerships, revenue generating roles, and we have sessions like this frequently. So please join us. The link is on the chat box. So you could click on the link and join us, join our sessions. We have sessions that are really educative and fun. We're a cool bunch, so please join our community. I would share Kimberly's profile on LinkedIn so that we could also connect with her. So we could also connect with her on LinkedIn. She's a member of the community as well. Yes, please. Okay.
Please also send my account number. My helpers could be here too.
Kimberly, please. So yes, please connect with Kimberly. She has a lot of gems to give, like she has given on this call. She's a really smart person. She knows our audience. We bring great people for you on here. Thank you, Kimberly, for your time. Thank you, everyone, for your time. See you in our sessions next month. Join TSPC if you're yet to. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Bye, everyone.